Hi, I'm Beardy Face Camper. I'm a London dog walker and also a photographer. I remember back in the 80s, so as a very young child, we as a family borrowed my auntie's old, I think it was a Bedford. It was a really old white camper van, and I don't think we ever really used it as a camper van, but I loved driving around in it around the beach and the coast and everything, and I have some really vivid memories from being a very, very young child, and I've kind of always had a fascination with caravans and camper vans and things like that ever since. Yeah. It's like all my favourite things all rolled into one. So I love driving. Like I never need an excuse to do a road trip. I love vehicles of all shapes and sizes, usually the bigger the better. I like the countryside. I grew up, I'm born and bred in London, but my family are mainly from Cumbria, so I grew up around the countryside and spent a lot of time there, and I try and escape the city as often as I can, and it kind of puts all those things that I love into one thing, and that's van life. And it also gives me an opportunity to have sort of temporary breaks from busy city life. You know, we all run the risk of burning out because we just keep going and going and going and going and going, and it's really important to take every opportunity you can to just stop, unplug and recharge. And although I don't do this full time, I'm still very much weekends and long weekends and road trips and things like that, but it means I get regular opportunities to unplug and recharge. So I think everyone finds different challenges with regards to van life. For me, I have particular anxiety about the fact that I chose an old vehicle. That there are a lot of factors to consider when choosing my base vehicle, and the cost. You know, it was cheaper to buy an older vehicle, but with that comes less reliability, and when I'm traveling around, I'm with dogs and often in the middle of nowhere, and the last thing you want is for something to happen. So even though my van has been nothing but reliable, I still have that little sort of, you know, anxiety that I travel around with. And also, I think one of the biggest challenges is if you've never done anything like this before, committing to something, spending your hard-earned money and investing, and then not knowing what the hell you're doing and having to learn every single job bit by bit, one at a time, and having to learn things as you go and make mistakes and then learn from those mistakes. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges for most people. So I work with dogs, but I'm also a photographer and an ex-professional singer. To be honest, I think I've been received well by everyone. I think people are just generally quite nice. Everyone has one thing in common when they're doing van life, and you're always going to meet random people and hear random stories, but you've always sort of got one thing in common. And I think generally just people are a lot nicer than we give them credit for. Wherever you go, you're always going to run into people who their noses will just be put out of joint by the fact that there's a Ford Transit parked in their favourite car park. They're always going to assume you're going to be a nuisance, you're going to litter. Then they see me and they probably think I'm dealing drugs or something. I get that often. I'm really not. I'm not a drug dealer. So I'm not heavily involved in social media. I don't really care that much. I follow a few people, and I'm interested in some of the projects that they do and the travels, and there are a couple of people that have helped me with actually building. You know, I've been watching their videos and things like that. I don't think there has to necessarily be a massive, you know, invite to the LGBTQ plus community. I think if there was just a little bit more diversity in general. When you go on social media, it's all very whitewash. You know, lots of skinny people in bikinis and everyone having a great time, and they all use the same filters. I love the van life community. I've had nothing but positive experiences. But if it was more diverse, I think everyone would benefit. Beardy Face Camper and Quirky Campers are proud to support Pride this month and every month.